Hi everyone, Victoria Jennings here from Entrepreneurs Business School. Welcome to another episode of Taking Care of Business. And today I want to look at the impactful framework to close strategy calls really easily. So this is aimed at coaches, consultants, and course developers mainly, all right? But it works with any business, with any clients that you may have. And I used to do this often for a really long time. Before I knew anything about the profiling tool that we use, or anything like that, I used to do this with my clients pre all of that, so you can too. So what I want to talk about is the proven framework that will give you as the coach, I'm just going to say coach, but I'm meaning all of those people, coaches, consultants, course developers, I'm meaning all of those people in a group when I say coaches, okay? It gives you the authority immediately on that strategy call, and it creates trust very quickly, all right? And I'm going to talk about how to be ethical about it as well today, because ethics is so important, and it's not really out there as much as it used to be once upon a time. So everything I'm telling you today is coming from a place of wanting to do the best for our prospective clients, wanting to see them win, wanting to make sure that we're able to provide a product or service that is actually going to do them some good and give them some value. That's the frame we're coming from, okay, with this. This is not about tricking people. This is not about, let's get so many sales. This is not focused on sales. This is focused on genuinely helping people out, okay? And if you can't help them, you tell them you can't help them. And you might point them in the direction of someone else who could help them, but we don't pretend that we can do things when we can't. And I know, especially when you're starting a business, you can want to just say yes to everything, but your business actually grows from what you say no to, not what you say yes to, okay? So, during this call that you're going to have with them, this strategy call, you're going to actually get them, they're going to actually ask you how they can work with you before you've even finished the call. Before you've gone through everything you thought you'd be going through, they'll be asking you, how can I work with you? And that is, for people like me, I hate asking people to work with me. I get blocks around that, which is really interesting. But when they say, how can I work with you? I have no problem at all in telling them how they can work with me, okay? And you might be the same. I know other people have that issue as well. So this is to help those people who don't like to ask for the money at the end, all right? So I've been using this framework, as I said, whether I've been talking to for years and years, whether I talk to a CEO of a major company, whether I talk to a large university, whether I talk to the HR director, or whether I've talked to the business owner of a salon, a beauty salon. Same process works, same thing helps, okay? So they don't have to be, strategy calls don't have to be daunting. You don't have to worry about what you're going to ask next. We are going to use the 80-20 principle, which is getting them to talk 80% of the time, and we guide the conversation 20% of the time. And that's it, all right? And everything is going to be discovered along the way. So you want to give them as much upfront value as possible without giving away all of your wonderful content material, okay? So we're concentrating on the what and not the how. The how will be in your products and services. So, okay, so what do? I get them to do an entrepreneurial profile. That's what I do now, because it makes this system, this process, this framework even easier. But if you don't have that, it will still work, but it'll just take a little bit longer in the conversation. So just allow a little bit more time, okay? So, people, and just remember this, people love to talk about their business. People love, if you're a life coach, to talk about themselves, okay? It's just how we're made. So what we want to do is to get them to talk about themselves. It's their baby. They love talking about their business. It's their little baby that they planted an idea and then they gave birth to it, and they continue to nurture it. It's very much like raising a child. So they're very proud of it. So let them talk about it, because it is amazing that everyone can create a business. You know, there are so many obstacles in the way and people overcome them. And I think, you know, we all need congratulating for having a business that survives everything and, you know, and is doing reasonably well. They might have some blind spots in their business, but, you know, they're making a good income, etc., etc. It doesn't matter if this is a startup that you're talking to, or someone who's already scaled a team, or someone who's really mature. There's always things that we can assist them with and make better, right? So you're going to clarify with your listening skills as you go along as well, and reflect back to them. And if you don't know how to do that, just look it up on YouTube. YouTube's fantastic for little courses, you know, that will help you with that sort of thing. But basically, you're going to repeat back to them what they tell you so that you can clarify that that is exactly what you heard, okay? Then ask them to describe what it's like to run that business after they've told you all about it. You know, what's the day-to-day like? What's that like for you? And if you're a life coach, it'll be what's their current life like, living that life every day, right? And so they're going to start by telling you about all their wins and all the things they're proud of. Because another thing, particularly with business owners, they don't like to admit that they're struggling with anything. Okay, they don't want to admit that, especially when they're just talking to you for the first time. So they'll come up with all of their wins first, and they may even make out that they're doing better than they actually are. Okay, but the more you listen and the more you remain silent, the more they're going to share with you. And they will start to share the things that are troubling them, the things that they're, you know, not struggling with, but challenged by. I prefer to use the word challenge, right? And the things that are going really well and the things that are not going so well. So listen really carefully, because while they are talking about their challenged areas, you're going in your head, you're putting the jigsaw puzzle together while they're talking. So you're thinking about all the products or services that you offer and how they could actually maybe assist them in that area. You're not going to say boo about it yet, but you're putting the puzzle together in your head so that when we get to the certain point in the strategy call, then you can start bringing in some solutions that you can help them with, okay? But you don't do it now, it's too early. We're still building the trust, we're still building the rapport, okay? So, but make sure you take note of that. Make sure you take note of how you can help them. Or you're thinking, oh God, I can't really help them. Who can I approach that might be able to help them, okay? You're thinking that if it's not going to be in your genius area where you have your solutions. So remember to be ethical about this, as I said. Don't say yes if you can't do it or you haven't done it before. Don't do that. Don't do that, okay? The stuff they're going to talk about, wherever they procrastinate, that's going to be where they need help, because it's not the lens of the business they come from. So that's why I want to have this conversation. Listen to their language. Their language is going to give away which lens they come from looking through their business, right? Looking at their business through. So there are 4 lenses that people come from, all right? And the 4 lenses are strategy focused. So they'll be coming from big picture. It'll be all about the what. It will be all about ideas. It'll all be about the future, right? They live in the future. So they'll be talking about what they're going to do rather than where they're at, okay? Listen for that. People focused, they're going to be talking all about the team. They're going to be talking all about the people they serve, their clients. It'll be everything about the people, networking, promoting, you know, relationship building. It's all about conversation for them, connecting through conversation. So you'll be able to identify them easily as well. And then we have the service focus. So these are the people who nurture. So they'll be nurturing client services, they're nurturing their team, and they want genuine connection, not just conversation. They really want to know what's going on, and they're very, very sensory. They can feel what's going on, okay? So you'll hear that in their language as well. And they also are very much about getting things done. So you'll also hear that. And then there's the systems focused. So they're all about the systems and process that support their business. So their systems will be fantastic. Like I can remember one chemist group I worked with, their franchisees were complaining that there was no leadership in the company. And when we looked at their executive team, there was no one that was strategy focused on the team. So yes, there was no direction, there were no plans, and that was exactly what was going on. I was able to help them make sure, and we promoted someone from within who was coming from that strategy focus to be on the executive team, and everything changed. All right, so that's why you've really got to listen. But the CEO of that particular chemist franchise was systems focused. So their systems were beautiful. They had the perfect systems, but they had no direction and no leadership. So these are the clues that you'll get as you're talking to people or getting people to talk about their business. These are the clues that you'll be having throughout the conversation. So the lens that they've nailed in their business is the lens that's natural to them. It's the focus that's natural to them. And they will have nailed it. They won't need help in that area. Okay? But there are 3 other lenses that are probably being a little bit neglected. And there'll certainly be 1 or 2 that's completely neglected because they simply do not have the capability of being able to see the business through that lens. Does that make sense? So it's the other 3 where your solutions, should be focused on. Absolutely. Wherever they procrastinate, if they're procrastinating over anything, that's where they're totally out of flow. Totally out of flow. They're not in alignment with that. So that's where they need some help too, because there's a reason they're procrastinating. Because they don't like to do it. It's not in their wheelhouse. It's not their genius area, right? So they need help with that. So the more you uncover that, the more you get them to talk about their business, the more you link it to the 4 lenses, the more you're going to understand how they need help and what they're going to be more open to and not resistant of, okay? So a lot of coaches as well view business through the people lens naturally because they love talking, they love conversing with people, they love being around people, they love motivating people, they love helping people, and they love to have those conversations and build relationships and network and, shine a light. That's what they love to do. And it's kind of natural for the role of a coach. But they can also spend a lot of money, okay, and make money. They have no problem making money, but they spend it really quickly and they don't know how to build their wealth because their blind spot might just happen to be the systems side of things. Often our blind spot is the opposite focus to us. So the opposite focus of people is systems, right? So the systems may be lacking and the automation may not be there, etc., but that's because they're coming from the people focus and vice versa. Coming from a systems focus, you're not going to have the people focus. If you're coming from strategy focus, you may not have the service focus. If you're coming from the service focus, you may not have the strategies in place. All right, this is what you'll see. I see it everywhere. And the profiling tool, of course, nails this like straight away. So just so that you know, what I do is I give them a profile before they get on the call. I get them to do that. They don't always do it. If they don't do it, I know they're coming from a systems focus. I know that immediately. Because I think they know better, right? And that's fine because that's how they are and that's good. I love everyone, okay? But if they do it, then I can give them some great solutions when we finish talking about their business and I understand them better and their business better. So anyway, so when you do that and you go through that process, they feel known and heard, maybe for the first time and understood. And that's why you build trust so fast that way. And it doesn't take a long time. It's absolutely magic. And I know that, when I'm on a call that's going well and all the dots are connecting and I can help them, then often, more times than not, they will ask me before we even get through that strategy conversation. They will ask me how they can work with me. And I know then that, that's nice and easy, a lovely easy flow, and we go and talk about that. Now, depending on the time, I might not talk about it then. And if they've got time, I might make another call and we focus just on the solutions with that call. But preferably, if you can keep the call going, it will just be a better outcome, and you'll usually get a conversion right then and there, okay? Depends on the timing. Okay, so why am I sharing this with all of you? I used to work with a lot of coaches in this field many, many years ago, and I stopped doing it and started working more with business owners. And the reason I stopped doing it was because the coaches and consultants were just not in my field. Like, they weren't showing up in my business at that time, which was the Trade and Business College, which I still have, right? So it was mainly business owners that would be showing up all the time. So it just made more sense to work with the people that always showed up, okay? And for me to work with coaches and consultants and course developers, I had to go out and actually find them. So I was a bit lazy, I suppose, all right? And so I just didn't do any more lead generation with that demographic. But I was having a look at the people who are here, members on this Entrepreneurs Business School group, and the majority of you are coaches, consultants, and course developers. So now it's the opposite. So it was just a little reminder, a little tap on the shoulder to me that perhaps I should be working with this demographic, because this demographic is showing up, and I need to serve you as best I can. So I hope today I've given you some hints about that strategy call that you have with your prospective clients. I hope I've given you some insight into things that you can be looking for and listening for. And if you think this is interesting, I've decided that I'm going to include in my Roadmap to Millions Bootcamp, I'm putting in another chapter on how to do these strategy calls, how to do these debriefs using the profiling tool. And there will be an opportunity for you to build your own, well, you won't build it, I'll build it for you, profiling tool that will be white labeled and all yours, nothing to do with me. But in the beginning, you can share mine until you know that it's working. But that will be a part of it as well. So I'm bonusing this chapter in. I'm only bonusing it in for the first 7 people who enroll in the Roadmap to Millions Bootcamp. So if you're interested in doing that with me, and you think this might be something that will be really a game changer for you, for your conversion rates, etc., and how you serve your clients ethically, then I'd really love you to come on a debrief call with me so I can actually show you what I do with you, and you can experience what it's like to be a prospective client firsthand with me taking you through a debrief. I call it a debrief. All right, so I don't call it a strategy call, I call it a debrief. So I'll go through that with you, and you'll be thinking about, wow, how this could serve your clients if you had this knowledge and you had this tool and you could do this with your own people. It's also, the profiling tool is a fantastic lead generation tool. People always want to know more about themselves, okay? It doesn't matter how many they've already done either. They always want to know more about them. And this is how people turn up in life as well. It's not just about business. This is also the view, the lens they have of the world. It's the lens they have of their family relationships. It's the lens that they have, in a marriage relationship. Like, this is how people show up. So it can be awesome for all of that. It can really be a wonderful shortcut to understanding why their kids are behaving the way they're behaving, because you can tell from about 7 years old what profile they are. all right? Or at least what lens they're coming through. So it's really, really valuable. It's going to add value to clients. It's going to add value to your business because you're going to go through how to run your business through those 4 lenses. I'm going to put those 4 lenses in your glasses so that you can see your business from all of those different lenses, okay, in Roadmap to Millions Bootcamp. So you're going to get that as well. And we're going to increase your business. When I first did this with my team, when I first put them finally in the right positions for who they were, I doubled my revenue in 6 months. And this was a long time ago, in like 2010, 2011, something like that. Okay? It was a game changer, and it was a game changer for every business I worked with as well. So you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And we've got to have a conversation about that. So if you would like to have a debrief with me and experience that for yourself, it's completely complimentary. There's no charge. It's completely free. I don't charge for the profiles. They're completely free. Please, in the comments below, type debrief, and my team will organise getting in touch with you and setting up a time where we can have a Zoom and I can take you through that process and you can experience it for yourself. Honestly, this was a game changer in my business. It's still a game changer in my businesses. It's still my go-to. It's still what I base my business planning on. It's what I base how we do our projects. You know, we have team-based projects. We don't have job descriptions. Like, there's a whole range of things that you will learn that is very different, I guarantee you, to what you're doing now. And it actually works. It is the most natural way of running a business I have ever known. And I love things that are natural. I really love things to be organic. I love the fact that, you know, our businesses are organic things. They're living, breathing entities, and they're all about people. Whether it's about people in your team or whether it's about people who are your clients, business is all about people and how you serve them, all right? And we want to serve them well and to the best of our ability. It's also great to make sure that your product and service that you are providing to people, the solutions, the offers you're providing, are in complete alignment with who you are. And I find a lot of times that's not the case, all right? And so I want to make sure that everyone's in alignment. I want to make sure you wake up every morning loving what you do and doing what you love, and everyone on your team is doing that as well. That's what life's about. I worked in a job a long time ago for 8 years that I didn't enjoy. I hated, and I dreaded Monday and I couldn't wait till Friday. I don't want anyone to do that, because long term that can cause health issues, that can cause cancer, that can cause heart attacks. And I really want to free people up from that. And this is all about freedom of choice and loving it, absolutely loving it, enjoying it, not watching the clock, not procrastinating. It's awesome. So let me do that with you. Type debrief down below and we'll get in touch with you and organise it. And I look forward to meeting you personally so that I can find out all about your business and all about you. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'll see you next Thursday for another session of Taking Care of Business.